Hello and welcome to the No Flipping Excuses Show, the only podcast in real estate investing that teaches what you need to know to find and flip deals right now. Wow. Break free the chains that are holding you back and join us on this episode with Jason Lucchese.
Hey, what's up? It's Jason Lucchese, and welcome to the No Flipping Excuses podcast. We are so excited that you are here with us today. We've got a really good show in store for you. We've got Mr. Justin Wilmot with us. Justin, how are you doing today, my man?
What's up, Jason, man? I'm stoked to be here. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. No, I'm super excited to have you on here. We're going to be discussing some really cool things that you're doing with your business, wholesaling, all that good stuff with making good, solid, massive profit checks, man. I am so excited to have you on here. A lot of people probably have heard of you before, but for the folks that haven't, Justin, can you just kind of tell them a little bit about yourself, how long you've been in the business and what you're currently up to?
Yeah, sure. Some people might know me as the 10-hour wholesaler. It's a product that we had out there for quite some time. And but I'm just a small town surfer that just wanted to do something different with life. And man, my journey started probably like most people, man. I was looking for something better. It was I got my start in this business during the recession, depression, right? Whatever we're going to define that as. And man, dude, it just, I bought what felt like every course under the sun, tried and tried. Failed on my first deal, lost the escrow deposit. And at that time, that $1,000 was everything. But I gave it another shot. I said, let me do it again. Guess what? Same damn thing happened again. I lost that escrow deposit. Yeah. And I was like, dude, just borderline from quitting. And I was like, this is not for me. I started to think that like maybe everybody's selling out here, selling things. It's just, it wasn't real, And I was like, maybe there's something out for that. I started just doubting the whole thing. And, just something in me, dude. I'm just not a quitter. And so I wanted to try to prove it one more time. So I went after it, hired a coach. That coach happens to be a very good friend of mine now, a business partner. We've gone on to make boatloads of money together.
Nice.
And that really became out of me becoming his most successful student. And so I learned that Tim Bratz was one of his students. Now that sucks. I can't say that anymore.
That's too funny.
Yeah. He's out there killing it. So, yeah, man, and that's got my beginning. So my first deal was a HUD property. I flipped a HUD property, and then I flipped 14 more in like 6 months. And then I just went on to buying and renovating properties. And I was a one-man band, and that literally almost drove me into the ground, dude. I actually went to the hospital for stress issues. I was sleeping like 2 hours a day.
Oh, geez. That's crazy.
All by myself. Yeah, dude, it's insane, dude. Like, I don't know what the hell was wrong with me. So then I just reinvented myself. And then I became really what's now known as like the lifestyle investor, because everything I do now has that in perspective. And so I just do things differently. I have more people involved in my deals. I'm never trying to get 100% of the profits, because that means I did 100% of the work. So I'm totally against that. I'll have a lot of people that all have a piece of the pie, and I sleep better at night. I get to surf more. Travel more, so it's good.
Nice, man. Nice. I'm about to start calling you Bodie from Point Blank. Remember that movie?
Don't do that.
That was a classic.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
The new one?
Oh, I did, but you can't redo a Swayze movie, It's like they're trying to redo Roadhouse, and it's just like, no, you can't do that.
The original, man. It's a one-time thing, dude. It's it.
That's right, man. So
the footage was pretty cool in there, but the storyline and everything else, it just wasn't there.
Right. No, I hear you. I did see it though, but no, that's awesome, man. I'm really glad that you were talking about the lifestyle, because a lot of folks, when they're first getting into it, they do have to be a one-man band at first. Everybody, I think, should know all of the hats within the business, but should you be doing all of it? No. So I'm glad that you brought that up. So when you first got started, you did a few HUD deals, wholesale. Yeah. So, and now let's flash forward. You're doing stuff where I like what you're talking about. If you're receiving 100% of the profits, it's mean you're doing 100% of the work. And I'm glad that you talked about, you're not receiving 100% of it, because that means, a lot of people are part of it. I like that saying, and let me know what you think. I'd rather receive 1% from 100 people than 100% from myself, because then, what if I get sick? I'm out for 3 days, 4 days. I'm receiving nothing compared to the 1% from 100 people. So what transitioned for you, Justin, to where you were like, man, I need to start putting together a team?
Was that hospital visit, right? So, I'm 23, super healthy guy, and just sitting there laying in a freaking skirt, while they're doing an MRI. And like, I don't even know what the problem is, and it just ended up being some sort of like basic stress-induced hernia, but like I couldn't swallow, and it was scary at the time. I'm like, what? And I'm like, this is retarded. And then I started thinking about my life as I'm laying there. I'm like, if I wanted to jump off and jump out, go on a surf trip right now, not going to happen. No freaking way. Right. I mean, I got private money guys, I got obligations, I got contractors that will steal from me. Hell, they were stealing from me while I'm doing the deal. It's like, and I'm there, they're stealing from me. So, it was just a disaster. And so I just said, I'm done. And I literally, dude, I did what I feel like everyone should do at some point: step back and just think and process and really look at like who you are, what you want your life to look like. And dude, instead of like, I had deals going on at this time and I just stopped. I mean, like literally I didn't even pay attention to them. I wasn't picking up the phone for contractors. And so, yeah, definitely I paid some consequences for that. But here I am today because I was able to do that. I said, I need to spend time planning out this life thing and just do this smarter. And that's what I'm all about, like working smarter than harder. I have a new belief, and that's if you are a real estate investor and your work, could be slightly controversial, but if you're a real estate investor and you're working 14, 12-hour days, you're doing something really wrong. You're doing something really wrong.
I agree.
Now, it's either you have a piece of data that you don't know, right? Or there's some fear within you that is stopping you from growing like you should and could be growing. Especially if you're a smart guy and or gal and you've already done deals, you know what to do. But if you yet haven't taken that step, there's something going on. You got to do what I just did: self-exploration, step back from the business. Take a pen, paper. That's it, man. Just start writing stuff down. Yeah.
So let's talk. Most of our listeners are people that are going to be brand new, just getting started in the business. For those folks that, we're like you, we're like me, didn't have a whole bunch of money, especially to be giving out as earnest money deposits. For those folks that are just starting out, and I always encourage folks, get started with wholesaling. It's the lowest barrier of entry. Doesn't have a super amount of risk to it, but it is going to take some hard work. What's a good path for people to go down when they're first getting started, Justin?
Dude, what a great question. And I love what you just said there, but it is going to take hard work. You know what it's going to, in my opinion, Jason, it's an absolute war. It's a battle.
Yep.
But let me add to that, though. I don't necessarily believe it's a battle in the exterior world. It's a battle in here.
Yeah.
This is the battle, man.
For sure.
Right? It is so crazy, man. We can talk ourselves in and out of things and away from things. You can have a logical idea and then go, but. And next thing you know, this great idea that you had to, like, let's say, go talk to a buyer at a RIA, right? That you know is going to be there. Just say something, right? But all of a sudden you talk your way out of it because of some excuses or whatever. So it's a mental battle. It's a war, a legit war that most people are not willing to confront. So my advice is be prepared to engage in war. This is not difficult business on the exterior. Let's just like break this down real honest, especially if you're brand new in this business. So like the truth of the matter is, right, especially if you're wholesaling, right, I got to put a product under contract at one price, market that product to a buyer for a higher price, and the profit is the spread in the middle is my profit.
Sure.
So like anybody can understand that. And like, let's just say a landlord buyer, which is how we operate and how I teach my students, a landlord buyer is a landlord, right? So to find, that's a cash landlord buyer. So our job is to go find them, ask if he wants more, and go market for product and put it under contract and then sell him that contract, right? Yep. We're all changing our words, right? We used to say selling the house. Now we're saying selling the contract.
Right.
So we're selling the contract, right? And so there we are. I believe anybody listening can thoroughly understand that if you passed like middle school, 4 + 4. I mean, you don't even need to know times tables to associate that simplicity. A buyer will buy it, market it, and sell it for a higher price. Put a contract for $50, market it for $60, and $10,000 is yours. So anybody here is thoroughly 100% able to do that.
Right.
They really are. I mean, if you're listening to us right now, then they have the tech skills. If you have the ability to listen to this interview, you can pull that off. So the question becomes, why haven't you done it yet? What are you scared of? Are you not prepared, and are you not waging the mental battle inside? Like, what are we nervous about? What are you avoiding? Are you scared of success? Are you scared of being laughed at? Are you scared at doing what I did, which is like putting up your last dollar and potentially losing it, right? You know, and in my case, losing it, right?
Yeah.
Like my last, you know what I mean, dude? Like I had a yacht management company, and I was just through all my savings at that company, like literally every dollar to try save it, and it was a sinking ship. No pun intended, but that's kind of funny. Let's just say yacht management company sinking ship. Anyway, it was a sunken ship, my man, and losing that money was everything. But I just refused to fail. So I in the early stages, I took on that mental battle. You know what I mean? And I believe it never stops. I think, you know, every time I hit a goal, like I just recently hit a really great goal, and every time I hit a goal, it just like there's a new goal. So now like the war continues, right? And I'm looking around, thinking, what do I got to do now? Who do I got to hire now? And so things change. I'll change my entire. I'm good with changing too.
Right.
A good adapter.
Let me ask you this, dude, because I think this is a really important topic and subject that a lot of podcasts and other people fail to kind of touch on. And we don't need to touch on it for a long time. But, you know, you and I have been, you know, we've had tons of people buy our training programs over the years. And you and I both know it's a mental roadblock from the beginning. Why do you think that is? Like, do you think it's just they haven't defined their why? Like, what is driving them? Like, I'm curious to find out from you what that is, because, you know, I could sit here until I'm blue in the face, but hearing it from other people like yourself, our listeners could start to be like, okay, so it's not just Jason saying this, Justin's saying it, and other people are saying it too. So what would you say is that? Why do you think people place that hurdle on themselves?
Dude, that right there is the question. That's the question, right? And so if I were to simplify it, I can break it down to two options, in my opinion. And then, by the way, I'm a student of success, so I like to think that my opinion comes with some weight, right? And I have results too. So
absolutely,
two things. We as individuals are either running towards something or away from something, right? So I believe that first, you as the person listening as an individual needs to understand what that truly is. Are you very fearful of what life could look like if you don't try? So, you know, is that where you're at with life? Or is your vision so unbelievably, for lack of a better word, sexy, so unbelievably amazing that you are willing to do the uncomfortable? You're willing to jump into fear like every day. You're willing to talk to a buyer you don't want to talk to. You're willing to talk to a seller. You're willing to say things you don't know what to say, right?
Yeah.
For me, my vision, so like I was getting ready to marry my high school sweetheart. And for me, it was a combination, really. I was running away from what could be, which is me just continuing to wait tables, right? Because during this transition, I'm waiting tables, right? To meet, you know, ends meet.
Yep.
Am I going to smell like fish every day of my life because it was a fish market?
Oh, no.
So am I going to come home smelling like fish to this beautiful woman? Or am I going to go out there and am I going to make something change? Right? And so my vision was so powerful. And so I know a lot of us say our why and our purpose, but I believe that unfortunately most people don't. You can intrinsically hear that, but do you really know? So I feel like you gotta be able to experience, breathe, and smell what is potential. For me, right? So like my vision, certain amount of money in the bank account, working a certain amount of months, traveling on my 110-foot yacht through the Caribbean, make it over to Central America and surf along the way, right? And so this vision just keeps me pumping, just keeps me going. I talk to people I don't want to talk to. I make moves that I don't want to do, right? Get up and meditate for an hour, even when I don't feel like doing it. Go to the gym because I believe like working out and success are symbiotic, right? Like I don't want to do it, but I got to do it. You know,
right.
Taking a nice cold shower. So is your vision strong enough to make you thoroughly go to work? And I believe, you know, or is your current circumstances so bad that you're willing to, once again, wage, like we said at the top of the call, mental battle? Because what you're dealing with right now sucks so bad and you're just over it.
Yeah. No, I I agree, man, with you so much on everything that you just covered. And hopefully for our listeners that, maybe have gotten into this, I've talked to folks over the phone and they're like, yeah, I've been wanting to get into the business for 8 years now. I'm like, well, what's been stopping you? And it's really, it's simple stuff. And it's fear that holds back a lot of people from reaching not even their potential, but beyond the potential. I remember when I first got started, if you remember that movie, The Secret, I made a vision board when I first got started, and I put it was right in front of me every single day. And then when we moved to our new house, I had it, I didn't have it up for years. And then all of a sudden I look at it, I'm like, wow, I pretty much accomplished everything that was on that freaking board, except for like one or two things. And I was fine with it, those one or two things not being accomplished yet. But it's crazy when you just have that burning desire to just really just make it happen. Or, some people say crush it or 10x it.
Right. 10x.
Yeah.
Come on, Grant.
Yeah. You got to have it.
Beautiful. Like, is your vision so like how if you're listening right now, do you have a vision board? If not, do you really want to flip a house? Like, dude, if you give yourself the time, do exactly what my story was, right? Give yourself the time. Like, whether it's pen and paper, write out your absolute perfect day in extreme detail. My perfect day, I had a mentor of mine, a self-development mentor of mine, had me do this. It was 11 pages long.
Wow.
Like one day. But the caveat to this is a day that you could thoroughly live every day. So that's tough. Yeah. Like repetition. So that's how thorough and complex. I'm a complex person in regards to the fact that I don't like the same thing over and over again. I like change. Yeah. That's just me. And so my vision. So my point is, though, as I wrote that out and read it every single night, dude, I started living it, just like you said with your vision board. Like, so my friends, yeah, definitely have a vision board, have your perfect life written out, because just what I believe, what Jason and I are talking about here, these are the things. One of my pet peeves, dude, in helping people, like, I love doing what we do. It's amazing. But one of my pet peeves, and I'm sure you have a pet peeve too, right? Yeah. But mine is, dude, can we just get to the meat and potatoes? Like, tell me the magic bullet. Like, what's the secret sauce to get like 50 sellers right now on the contract? Right. Yeah. And unfortunately, a lot of folks that get into this, they check out these webinars and all this type of stuff. And some folks do a really great job of selling a dream. But on the other end, there's no knocking folks that are putting out good training, but you have to, most people have to understand this takes a lot of hard work. You're sacrificing in the beginning, working 80, maybe 100 hours per week so that you don't have to work 40 hours, 50 hours for somebody else and be miserable. Sacrificing for that first year or so. 6 months to a year, if you really, really put in the sacrifice and the hard work, then you're going to start to be able to do some of the things that, Justin and I are doing by putting teams in place to where you're not always working in your business, but you're working on your business. And I think that's where most people lack, is they don't put together like a 30, 60 or 90 day structure of what they're going to do. And then if something goes wrong, Justin, they don't want to fix the problem, because I'm a big believer in there's no plan B. It's just plan A and that's it. Yeah. We're going to go. Yep. We're going to go. Yeah, exactly. I love that. It's beautiful. I think we're hitting on the same thing. I mean, it's just like the key is to really figure out what is it that you're avoiding. Like, I'm telling you guys, the meat and potatoes is this is my saying, and I don't think I made it up, but the most profitable piece of real estate that you and I will ever flip is the real estate between our ears. The great Jim Rohn said that in a slightly different way. Yep. But it is the most profitable. But I'm a real estate guy, right? So I associate real estate. So it is the most profitable piece of real estate you'll ever flip. And what all that simply means is, it's like most people say, I know I should be doing blank. I know I should be blank. I know I should have been on the phone with the buyer. I know I should have started that marketing campaign, whatever it is. Stop. Just stop doing stuff. Stop doing shit, really. Stop and go, why am I not doing it?
Yeah.
That's the question. And I'm not saying it's easy, dude, because fear is real, right? Fear is real. Like, it's real. Like, if you feel fear from something, it's real. So what we're saying here is, like, is your vision so beautiful that you were willing to step into the fear and push through the fear?
That is true, man. I love it. I love it. And we could keep going on and on and on about that. That I love that. And, you know, it's something I'm passionate about, because I really do. When we take on the responsibility of people buying and purchasing one of our training programs, I just feel like it's our responsibility to do it. But some folks just don't have that drive, that passion, and some folks do. You know, some folks do, and those are the folks that, you know, I love working with and seeing their growth from it and changing, you know, their life, man. And I know you've had tons of testimonials over the years too, and just seeing some of the changes from these folks, man, is just remarkable. So it's really cool. You're doing some amazing stuff, man. I love seeing all the stuff that you continue to do for folks.
Dude, man, I appreciate that.
Yeah,
dude, I love doing it. Nothing's better. Like, it was great last month in regards to students' checks. Like, I know you know this feeling. There's nothing better than seeing that.
Oh,
like, you know, I'm getting checks. They don't mean nothing to me, dude. Like, you know, we just got a fat one the other day. It means nothing. Like, you know, like I honestly, like, because I've just been doing it for so long, I feel no emotions anymore. Like, I used to be like, yeah, come on, baby, we're gonna pop a bottle real quick. How's the kids? Let's go jump in the pool or something. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's nothing. Like, it's nothing. But when even a student cashes a $2,000 check, a $5,000 check, it gives us validation that we're helping people, you know?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And, you know, with talking to you, you know, I would be doing an injustice by not asking some actual real estate stuff because you're obviously crushing it. You're doing some really cool stuff from a training perspective and also with your own business as well. So why don't we transition, man? We just covered some really heavy stuff, and hopefully, you know, people received it and, you know, are taking note of it, because it's that important. So talking about your business, if you don't mind sharing one of the top things, you don't have to share everything, but what is one juicy, like, secret that you would be willing to share for finding sellers in today's market?
For finding sellers.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm willing to share it. No problem. It's still my top thing. So for me, it's networking, but that's 10 years of experience. So I can't just come out here and say, everybody, hey, you make sure you have an amazing network so that everybody thinks of you as a local home buyer. That's going to take years to do. All right. So what can you realistically do? Dude, I love bird dogs. Call them whatever you want to call them. Scouts. I call them field managers. And so I have a 3-prong approach for building a distressed house list. I don't care if they're there or not. As a matter of fact, we like it if it's occupied and it's just a beat to heck house. It's a very unique list because you can't buy this list.
Right.
This is a list that takes sweat, right? And so so what we do though is just a different approach. We attack that list. So for me, it's not big numbers. It's get a very specific list and how are we targeting that list? That's good. Now, also again though, for me, that's like what I can teach and show, because it still works for us well, and everything's involved in that. Direct mail is involved in that. Cold calls involved in that. Text messaging might be involved in that. Ringless voicemails might be involved in that. But for me, like if I'm looking back at like the last handful of like bigger projects, like my renovation projects, have all came from networking, meaning every agent in town that knows that I'll close a distressed house quick, cash, and because my credibility, we're there, we've done it, that I get the local.
No, man, I agree. I think the networking is huge. That's how I got my start. I would network with attorneys, real estate agents, contractors, other wholesalers. I'd call bandit signs. It was driving around for dollars, which I still think is a very, very undervalued component in today's market, especially with all the technology we have available today, Justin. It's not just, hey, I'm going to jot down all the addresses and then go home and then do this, and this. You could literally, while you're in the car, you could get all of the information of that individual homeowner right there in the palm of your hand. So
yep.
It's using technology, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm a big believer in that. So I'm glad you brought up networking. That's huge. Yeah. That's huge. So,
and for anybody that's listening, that's seasoned, if you don't have a RIA, create a RIA. that'd be my next big piece of advice.
Yeah. You know, there's a website called meetup.com. You could put your RIA on there, and then you could also broadcast it on Facebook. And how much does that cost to put it on Facebook, Justin? It's free. It's free. So, you know, that's why we love having our company called No Flipping Excuses, because there really is an excuse, especially in today's day and age with all the digital stuff that we have at our fingertips. When you and I got started, it was not like that. YouTube was just in its infancy. Facebook was somewhat still in its infancy. Instagram wasn't a thing. LinkedIn was, you know, if you knew what to do with LinkedIn, it was great for networking, but most people would just go on there and post job stuff. And I did it in a completely different way. But, you know,
I leverage LinkedIn. I definitely, LinkedIn helped me for sure. Yeah.
No,
but
LinkedIn's great.
It was a different day, man. I was doing bandit signs till like 3 or 4 in the morning wearing black clothes back in them days. Running around, dodging cops. Even cops looking at me like, what is this guy doing? They never stopped me, though, which is interesting.
Well, some areas too are still really good with bandit signs too. What would you say on that?
Well, so when I'm teaching students, I say, well, it's illegal in most municipalities, but illegal as in, you know, I mean, what are we talking, like running a stop sign kind of thing, right? For some, it's like littering, so you can get a fine, but it varies. And truth be told, everyone's like, I got a problem with it. I mean, because the very people that are going, like, let's say you get a fine and then you challenge it, you go to court and you're sitting in front of the judge. Well, that judge is sitting in front of you because of effing bandit signs.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not all the way, but he marketed his tail off, and bandit signs were a part of what he did.
Yeah.
So, let's just be honest, okay? So there is seasons now, things have changed, but dude, here's what I gotta say about it: risk versus reward. And it freaking works for buyers.
Yeah, no, I agree. We haven't really used bandit signs like the whole "we buy houses" things in a really long time, but blanketing neighborhoods when you have open houses for some of your rehab projects, that's huge. That's really, really huge. So,
dude, one of our favorite ones just says handyman at the top, square footage, price, sexy price, phone number.
Yep.
Phone number, stop ringing.
Oh yeah. Buyers will continue to blow that thing up, and some of them are looking for seller financing, so it could create cash flow for you right off the bat. With as long as you've got some private money in place, you've got a potential BRRRR opportunity, so you could do a buy, rehab, rent, refinance opportunity there. So I'm sure you probably get a lot of those calls too, right?
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm embarrassed to say we kind of trash those. So I'm embarrassed. It's embarrassing to say, but hey, look, I always tell people, look, real estate is big and it's immense, and we were just talking about stepping over fears and stuff. I'm a very simplistic guy, so when something works for me, I stay in that zone, at the cost of losing a lead that you probably would have converted.
Well, hey, it's all about what you're focusing on your business. You don't want to spread yourself too thin, or else, you know, you're not going to be able to do the things that you're doing right now. So that just may not be the thing right now that you guys are doing, or may ever be something that you guys want to focus on. But for us, we here in the Midwest, it's different. You know, you're on a different part of the world. Well, I shouldn't say world. I would say in the country. But Midwest. Well, it's nice and gray here, and you know, in just probably a little bit, you're probably gonna have sun and going out and surfing. So
yeah, there is waves today too. So I'm actually looking at them right now. I'm like, oh man, it's looking good for lunch.
Nice, dude.
We call them frothy waves for lunch. Frothy waves for lunch break.
That's awesome, dude.
Most of the guys surf here and stuff, so it's pretty cool.
Nice. Go out for a little surf. That's awesome.
Yep.
That's awesome. Decompress.
Oh, dude, I encourage my people to go out and have fun, man. Like, as long as they're responsible and getting things done. But I want people to get out there, exercise, jump on the bike, go up and down A1A, go surf, you know?
Yep. You got to have that balance in your business. So I ask all of our individuals that we have come on the podcast this one question. It's nothing crazy, but what would be a book that you would recommend? Like a business book, entrepreneur book, self-help book? Do you have any books within the last 6 months, or do you have a book that was just life-changing for you that you may have read?
Yeah, you made me nervous there with that intro, dude. I thought you were about to have something really gnarly. I was like, my biceps off. So, one of my favorite, you know what, dude? I mean, this is, I wish it was something more like unique and wow, I've never heard of that. Let me go run out there and buy it. But the truth of the matter is, I believe real estate is a relationship-based business, and there's no better foundational book than How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Nice. That is a good book.
Yeah.
That is a good book. Yeah. Awesome, dude.
Honestly, you can just grab 1 or 2 principles out of that resonate with you, and you're off to the freaking races. It'll give you confidence. Remember this fear thing we're talking about? Which, if it's true, what I said is a relationship-based business, right? Buyers, sellers. And if you and I, like these days, I don't do buyer calls anymore. I don't talk to sellers anymore, but relationships. So now I need to learn how to deal with and manage people.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. That's a really, really great book. I don't think we've had anybody recommend that one in a while. That's a really good book. Quick read too.
Absolutely. Yeah, great read. You know, and pick whatever works best. I think the last principle was using your invisible sex drive. So, you know, maybe that one won't resonate with you, but.
That's awesome. That's awesome, man. Yeah. So 2 things. How can people get a hold of you? And do you have any parting words for our listeners?
Oh, awesome. Yeah. So you can get a hold of me. Go to justinwilmot.com, and then you'll be able to follow me on Instagram and Facebook. Of course, you know, Justin Wilmot on Facebook, at Wilmot Justin on Instagram. I have a really cool YouTube series, and we have some cool nice. Episodes that I call Freedom Air episodes, which just really shows like us mixing fun and business and showing to you that it is possible. And I do believe you should be doing it, because it goes again right back to what we're talking about. I believe if you enjoy some aspect of this, you're going to do more of it.
Yep.
You know, kind of simple, right? Kind of logical to me. Anyway, so you can get me there, justinwilmot.com. No N, just Justin, WILMOT.com. Parting words for people is that, you know, I thoroughly am passionate about this business, because I always said to myself, when I was lost, confused, broke, I said, man, when I figure this stuff out, I'm going to tell people my truth from what I've seen, because there's a lot of noise out here, and there, it's a noisy world. And at some point, you do need to have faith in who you're listening to, have faith in yourself, step into the fear, right? And make sure you are crystal clear on why you're here, why you're even listening to this, why you're even interested in real estate. Because let me just make you a guaranteed promise. Real estate is the vehicle that if you have goals for financial freedom, it's unequivocal, the answer, period, right? Like, it's the answer.
Yep.
It's going to do it for you. You just got to put it to work into your life, and you will get the results. Keep pushing. You just got a rejection. Trust me. Make another offer. Buyer hung up on you and laughed because you said the wrong thing. Make another call. I promise you, you will get what you want out of life in this vehicle. It will happen. Just a fact.
Man, I love that. That was great. That was good parting words. Love it. Check out justinwilmot.com. We'll have those in the show notes below for you. So justinwilmot.com. And if you have any questions for us whatsoever, you can always reach out, support@jasonluchesi.com. Again, that's support@JasonLuchesi. I'd like to thank you, Justin, for joining us on the No Flipping Excuses show. It's been awesome, dude. You've been a great, great guest. And for those out there that need anything, obviously reach out. But other than that, go flip a house. We will talk to you later, and we'll see you on another exciting episode of the No Flipping Excuses.